Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. I'm Kirsten Carey, and I'm excited to talk to you today about creating a flow state so that you can help support your immune system. So that's what we're going to be chatting about right now. So let's talk about flow state. And I know all of you have had moments where you've been in flow state. It's flow states when you're just such in a zone that everything is just flowing. You're not worried about time. You're not worried about eating. You forget to go to the bathroom. Like you're just so in a flow state that you look up and don't even realize how much time has passed. You don't think about anything else but what it is that you're in the middle of in that moment. And it's this beautiful state that just even cognitively and physically, your body is in this connected flow. So I'm going to talk to you about what that really means. And when you're unlocking these neurochemicals, you're unlocking this flow, it's when you're connected to an activity that is just causing you such kind of a state of euphoria where nothing else around you really matters. And you feel really connected and awesome. It drives dopamine and all the feel-good chemicals, right? There's norepinephrine, I have to slow myself down whenever I say that, which is a neurotransmitter of the brain that plays on the essential role in the regulation of things like arousal, attention, cognitive function, and stress reactions. A lot of times you'll hear athletes and artists talking about this flow state. But if you're doing something that you really enjoy, you often will get into this flow state and not realize it and not even notice it after the fact. You were just in it and everything just felt like it was going your way. That's a flow state. What's amazing about being in a flow state, it actually puts you in a place of safety. It puts you in a place of calm, peace, euphoria, happiness, joy. And one of the things that it's doing for you physiologically is it helps to lower cognitive load. It helps to lower inflammatory load. It helps to support your immune system. It pulls you out of anxiety or depression because we are connected to now, just this moment. We're not connected to all the worry we have about what could happen in the future. We're not connected to all of the things that make us feel resentful or guilty or feel fearful or depressed from the past. It helps us stay in this now moment. And I want you to think of it as if you were getting into a river or stream with a really nice flow where you're allowing the current to take you and you're just flowing with it. And you're not thinking about all of the resources that are being utilized. You're just leaning in versus trying to turn the other way in that stream and swim against the current. And so often we're trying to swim against the current. When you're in a flow state, you're allowing that current to take you and you're using that energy, you're using that flow, you're using that vibration, that frequency to help flow you, pull you, send you towards whatever it is that you're trying to do. And when we're in that space, we're not worried, right? We're not overthinking things. We're actually in the body. We're in our sensory experience, which is why creative people really feel that the flow state is the most natural, amazing place to be. And when you hear people talking about like writer's block, or they don't feel like they can get into their creative state, it's because they can't get into their flow state. And a lot of times it's because there's a fear or a sense of anxiety that is blocking that. There's cognitive load. There is inflammatory load that's stopping us. So when we work with our clients, we help them get into this connected flow state more frequently and easily through very specific tools that help unlock the subconscious mind and activate theta state or theta brainwaves that allow them just to flow into this. And it actually has an impact on you physiologically. Flow follows focus. So if you are hyper-focused on fear, you can't actually get into this flow state. So flow follows what you're focused on. And when you're focused on something that makes you feel grounded, that makes you feel connected, that's when this flow state continues and you can get into this kind of euphoric state with it. And what makes this even more amazing and how you can compact or compound your results with flow state is when you can get into a flow state with other people who are in their flow state. So the healing and energy when you are together with others who are also in a flow state gives you this amazing way to exponentially heal, because you're all vibrating more in this safe, euphoric space. So again, the euphoria piece I'm not saying you're taking drugs altogether or anything. What I'm saying is that you're getting into a space where you're vibrating in this happy place, because there are literal neurochemicals that get released when you finally lean into this flow state, because you're feeling so safe. And there are certain neurochemicals in a flow state that are more accessible when you are with other people. So those of you who kind of pull back and pull in, we have our moments when we need to have self-time, right? But when you're in a flow state, it can work even better when you're with other people who are also in that similar space. So I don't know if you've had this experience, but when you're with other people and you're in a safe place and you're in an environment where other people are feeling healthy and balanced and safe, you all kind of vibrate at a higher level together. And it literally unlocks certain neurochemicals when that happens that you can't get to otherwise. But to get into true flow, one of the things that you also must have is a healthy relationship with yourself, or a good connection with yourself. And then you create a healthier connection and relationships with the people around you. So it's even more likely that you're going to be able to get into a higher state of flow with other people when you are very connected to yourself. And to get into true flow, all of those pieces start to work with you when you lean into it. Flow also follows things like flow follows focus, but it also follows when you feel that you're in a space where you are clear. So a lot of times what people will do, and they don't know that they're doing, they don't realize this is why they're doing it. If you've ever walked into a space where you just feel like it's just not right, like it's not set up right, or it feels too clogged, or there's just too many things like in the way, and you suddenly feel the need that you have to like reorder or reorganize something, it's because your brain, your body is trying to help you find the flow state. So for those of you who really like to have things in order, some of you really need the order to open up to be able to get into your flow state. Now, some of you, the order, if it's hyperreactive order, then that's a cognitive response that you're not safe. And we have to have a different conversation about how you're responding there. But for those of you, all of a sudden, like sometimes when I'm feeling kind of stuck, or I don't feel like I can tap into my flow space, I suddenly feel the need to like go do laundry and fold things. And it's because the brain is looking for order. It's looking for things not to feel so congested. Or I get into a space where suddenly I feel like the need to clean my office. I like to pile things. I have lots of books piled in my office. But there's a point where I need to reorder things sometimes. And it's not just I'm cleaning, as I'm making space for the flow state. So sometimes we need to clean the kitchen in order to have more creativity and flow for the types of foods that we're looking to make. If you feel kind of stuck or stagnant in kind of the foods you're making, you may want to kind of clean the kitchen or maybe reorder the kitchen, because it helps you have more of that clarity, that openness to accept and receive the flow, right? When we are in flow states more frequently, it will help support our immune system. It helps support clarity of thought. It helps support sleep. It helps support balance in the body as a whole. You'll actually be more likely to lose weight if you're struggling to lose weight. You're more likely to gain weight if you're struggling to gain weight. And we have clients who come usually at one of the other extremes. You'll actually digest your food more effectively. You'll absorb the nutrition in your food more effectively. So it will help you physically. It'll help you feel more strong emotionally as well as physically. And it will help you feel that you can tap into more of the calm, peaceful space that you want. What's super interesting is that there's been studies done on flow states specifically. Like they've actually run studies on brain function and body function where they can help people when they tap into the flow state, they can tell based on the response they're getting from the studies that they're doing. And there's been studies done by McKinsey and Company, which is a very well-known company who does a lot of studies, the Flow Genome Project, and the US military studies flow state because they know when their military officers are in a state of flow, they are more likely to get more done in less time. So of course, if the US military is looking for ways to do things better, they're absolutely going to be looking for the things that they can tap into, the most effective states they can get people into. So the U.S. military the Flow Genome Project, and McKinsey and Company are the three that are most well known for studying flow states. But what they've all discovered, and they've each supported each other's studies, is that just 2 hours of being in a flow energy can increase productivity, excitement, and success, like reaching the goal, by between 400 and 700%. Let me say that again. Just 2 hours of flow energy can increase productivity, excitement, and success by between 4 and 700%. So again, when you're in a flow state, you suspend how you typically experience time. So you actually get more done because you're not actually in that vibration of time. It actually, again, boosts your immune system. It helps release more of that feel-good neurochemical release. There's increased mental clarity. So you see patterns and you see things that you wouldn't have otherwise seen, or you become more resourceful in your thought process and you come up with better solutions, or solutions that were otherwise closed off to you. You spike the speed of healing. So those of you who are looking to start healing from some background issue, some autoimmune condition, whatever it is that you're healing from, the speed of healing spikes. You feel more in control of what's going on in your life and the things around you. You have more of a sense of mastery. So it's above just control. You really feel very grounded in who you are and how well you are doing things. So those of you who are struggling with confidence levels, those of you who are struggling really understanding what your purpose and your true value are, this spikes when you're in a flow state. And the more often you're in a flow state, the higher that gets, and the more grounded and solidified that gets. And you use less effort, fewer resources to accomplish more. So you get more with less. And you inspire true momentum, which sets the foundation for more success, and it gets everything else there faster. And then when you actually purposely are vibrating in flow more frequently with people who also are working to vibrate in flow, then you're getting even more done, which again is another thing that the military is looking at, is how do we get to spike this even more easily? So the more people that they are helping get into that flow state more easily together, they're getting even more out of them. But when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you feel like you're bouncing all over the place and you just kind of like squirrel, squirrel, and it's like shiny objects syndrome. Or if you're doing something that it's not serving you and you can't stop, like you're binge eating, or you keep doing things that you know are not helping you, but you feel like you can't stop them, like an addiction reaction. These are all trauma responses. That means that you're not in flow, that you're not tapping in, that you're not relaxing far enough to be able to even lean into flow. And flow boosts a sense of that mastery and control, like I said. So what it does is it puts you back in this feeling of control and safety, and it pushes out that toxic stress response that those chemicals that release during moments of fear that get settled into your body, into your cells and tissues, they get released. And it resets your central nervous system, and again, boosts the immune system. And your immune system's job is to help protect you from things that are coming at you from the outside. And the immune system's job is to help you heal. So when your immune system isn't at tip-top shape, it won't be able to protect you from things like viruses and cancers and stressors coming at you. But even more importantly, it doesn't help you do its second job, which is heal. Protect and heal. That's the immune system's job. So when we suppress the immune system, or it's not capable of doing its job well, you are unprotected or less protected, and then the body can't come back from anything that it's been challenged from. So some of the things that you need to do to help get into more of a flow state is, one, you need to start looking at your environment that might be supporting you staying out of a flow state. Because if you're feeling stuck and you can't get into flow, the environment may be holding you back. So change your environment, physical environment, which will impact your mental environment. So get up and go for a walk. Go to a place that you haven't been in a while, that it stimulates different parts of your brain, like a museum, someplace that you wouldn't normally be, right? Go to a mall even, just wander around, have different senses, experience different things. Sit outside if you haven't been outside. Get into a different environment. right? Or clean up or change the environment that you're in, like rearrange the furniture, put things in different places. It actually stimulates different parts of your brain and gets you out of that stuck stage, gives you more clarity. Second, get your blood pumping. Work out, have an orgasm, jump up and down for a few minutes. When your blood is flowing, your mind is flowing. Think of flow state. When things are flowing in your body, blood especially, thoughts, feelings, movement, flow and movement go together. So get the blood pumping, get your body moving. And number three, get into a flow state. Flow state, yes, but a theta state. So there's brainwaves, theta brainwaves, and we do a lot of work with our clients within the theta state. It helps you with things like certain visualization tools and techniques. There's something I do called frequency sessions, which alter the frequency that you're connecting to, and it helps you open up to different frequencies and different opportunities. So it helps you to feel more unstuck. I do very specific somatic breathwork techniques that are very intense, that open up places in the body to help you relieve and release stuck energy and underlying traumas. You can do things that are hypnosis or neuro-linguistic programming. I do a lot of these things with our clients to help them open up different spaces and relieve and release the things that are weighing them down so that they can't get into that flow state. Kind of, again, think about being in the water. If you have a lot of weights tied to you, you're going to start to sink. We want you to be able to float as easily as possible so that you can move with the current, right? And if things are making you feel heavy, emotionally, mentally, or physically, you're not going to be able to flow. Number four, just set an alarm and shut off all of your electronic devices so that you are able to even just be in a space where you're not being alerted all the time or distracted all the time. Every single time your phone or your computer or something alerts you, you don't realize you're actually disconnecting from flow state to look at that thing. And we are so conditioned at this point to look at our phones when it pops something up. You can absolutely control this. Go into your control settings on your phone especially and stop the number of things that are coming at you, or control who's able to get to you quickly. I'm not saying turn off your email. What I'm saying is stop all the alerts that a new email has come in. Stop all the text alerts that something has come in. You can absolutely change it so that there's like an emergency, like your kid's school, they can get through. But pretty much everything else can wait. There are very few true emergencies, but we are so conditioned to think every time our phone says something, does something, flashes something on the screen, that it's an emergency. And it stops the brain from staying in a flow state. So if you need to, shut everything off, set an alarm so that you go back maybe once an hour or once every couple hours and check on things, and allow yourself to get into a true flow state without being alerted or distracted all the time. Number five, learn something new, cook something different, use recipes you've never used before. Use a type of cuisine you've never used before. For Christmas a couple of years ago, my brother gave me a cookbook from a local restaurant in Philadelphia, and it was Israeli cooking. And there were some things in there I had never used before as far as spices and ingredients. And there happens to be a Mediterranean-specific supermarket here. So I went shopping in the Mediterranean-specific supermarket looking for some of the ingredients that I knew weren't going to be in our standard supermarkets here. And I had so much fun. Just the smells alone there were different than what I was used to having in my standard supermarket. And I got to buy all these new things and try all this new stuff. And I got so excited about it. But that actually is a sensory awareness experience too. And it opens up different centers of your brain. Put together a puzzle or a logo set or something else, right? So do something different, learn something new, change what your norm is. 6, focus on someone other than yourself. And I mean this, and go to find somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. Go hang out with a friend that you haven't had a conversation with in a while. Sign up for something where you're meeting new people. Watch a biography of someone you wouldn't normally be seeing. Like I just watched a biography on Mike Birbiglia. If you guys have never seen his comedy, I absolutely love his comedy. He has something that just came out on Netflix called The New One. And it's more of a biography of how he sets up his stand-up. And he just came off a one-man show on Broadway. And I loved watching his process and how he thinks about things and how he comes up with new material. was fascinating. But biographies are amazing. Watch some biographies just to see how other people flow, right? Again, clean up your environment. Number 7, when you clean up your environment or you kind of organize, and I don't mean organize like to the state of like way hyper organized. When you clean up the environment, you're going to clean up your flow, open up the environment to more flow. And when you have clarity, you can do so much more, and you'll start to see what's more important to you and then what's next and how do you go to the next step. You won't be in that overwhelm, what do I do stage, right? So you've got some amazing ways to help get into flow state, but if you really want to keep it and you really want to change a lot of what's going on, I work with our clients on very specific tools and techniques to basically quickly move them out of a stuck stage into a flow state. And then I give them tools to then keep that flow state going. So then they learn how to tap into it when they need it. And then they're more in flow than they are in stuck, right? So deep breath. I gave you a lot to chew on today, talking about flow states and why they're so important to your immune system and why they're so important to just health in general. But I'd love to see you hitting more levels of success more effectively, more easily, with less effort by learning how to get into these flow states and then take them through. So you not only learn how to leverage them, you learn how to recreate what your norm is as far as stuck versus flow. Flow is amazing. It helps for so many things. And if you're interested in talking to us about how flow state could really help you, let me put this on the screen for you right now. You can book a conversation specifically with me, quick conversation to say, how will we do that? What does your goals look like? What does health look like for you right now? Where do you want to go? What's your level of success? Where are you stuck? I can help give you some clarity around that. And we could build a strategy on how you would get there. So we could have a quick conversation on this is the right time. And if we think that really is, then we will book another call to have a larger conversation about how to get that done. So you can go to nourish123.com/heal, HEAL, find time on my calendar, and we'll have a conversation around that. Build out a mapped out plan on how to get you to the levels of flow and success that you really want. It will have an impact on you mentally, emotionally, and physically, and it will have an impact on the environment around you. All right, well, you guys have a great rest of your day.